Welcome to a special edition of the Citi Newsroom coming to you from the University of Cape Coast, where the NPP is launching its manifesto.
All tertiary students will now be able to get the option to obtain a student loan without the requirement of a guarantor.
Aside this one, we also tell you about the Congress of the Convention People's Party, which is happening in Accra. They are electing a flag bearer and executives.
Nana Akosia from Kuma. She had 950. So Nana Akosia from Kuma is duly elected as
and later we'll take you around the central region and see how schools are preparing for a likely reopening of senior high secondary schools.
How long are you going to keep them in the house? I mean, it will affect the academic calendar and a whole lot of things. So I think that's my opinion. They should come.
Plus, residents of Samsam in the Gan West municipality of the Greater Accra region threaten to boycott the elections of 2020 unless their roads are fixed.
Yeah, companies are who shares a sea of Michema, a bin one of my says Semeti will move Semeti in Yankupon by Uncle Maya and any how to get.
Let's bring you our first story where the New Patriotic Party is launching its 2020 manifesto. Sanda, earlier you spoke to quite a number of people. What were they saying?
Indeed, so the ministers have been sharing their views on the big ticket issues in the manifesto. First, let's speak to the Minister for Health, Kwaku Agyeman-Manu, for obvious reasons. Well, so we are still on the grounds where the NPP is doing the launch of its manifesto. The Minister for Health, Lokko Agyeman-Manu, is here with us. Let's have a quick conversation. Honorable Minister, you're welcome. How is the Ghana's health sector doing before we talk about the manifesto?
Thank you very much. Ghana's health sector, I believe, is doing quite well. We delayed a little bit with infrastructure, but it's like monies that were supposed to have come to us wouldn't come very early. We know we inherited a very bad economy, and the finance minister needed to stabilize the system before we roll out. This year, despite even COVID, look at the few things we have managed to do in health infrastructure. Apart from that, our indicators for certain disease burdens have improved. Mother and child care, infant mortality, maternal deaths, and neonatal care, and all those things we believe have done so well.
A lot of your health workers are not happy. The president promised them 50% allowances. That has not happened. A lot of them are withdrawn. Indeed, from Gan East, we were told a lot of the people from Kolebu have moved out. Other hospitals, Region 37, the workers are complaining. Why has the president promised 50% allowance and this allowance is not being paid workers?
The allowance wasn't promised to all health workers. We use the word frontline workers, and we had a problem with even defining who a health worker is. That is what has delayed the thing. But we have started paying. We have presented to Parliament to tell them how we've managed it, and I know for sure not all will be satisfied.
Let's talk about the politics side of COVID, because you are wearing a political smock now. The NDC says you have done nothing in terms of infrastructure in the health sector. You are using the health centers they left behind. Indeed, they accuse you of going to rest in the Green Book, which is a UGMC, which they left behind, which your party at the time said was Photoshop.
That place was not done with anybody's pocket money, right? When we came, you saw the battle I was trying to fight with the University of Ghana Medical Center. As I speak, that place is not fully completed, despite the fact that we've now managed to get the extra money to do the work that we should do, right? Phase 1, some parts of it were all intertwined with Phase 2 completion. So we just couldn't have started UGMC fully. So the place is up and coming.
But doesn't take away the fact that NDC left that facility for you.
No, I can't say that NDC didn't start it. They didn't complete it. We have come to do the work. What they claim they left that we haven't done, they should come and tell me 5, 6 of them now. In Central Region alone, we've completed 10 polyclinics that they were doing. We finished them last year, and I went around commissioning, including forcing with him.
The biggest issue of infrastructure and health was delivered by the president when he promised 88 hospitals. What's
adding more.
Okay, what's the status of that promise by the president to build some extra hospitals?
We are still at the preliminary stages.
Have you found land?
We've asked all the districts without hospitals to give us land. They've all submitted. We now have people who are going around inspecting the lands to try to see which areas are good, which areas cannot be good.
Can you finish even one of them before the elections?
This election?
Yes.
No.
It's not possible.
Definitely.
Let's now speak to the Minister for the Interior, the Honorable Ambrose. Honorable, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
How is your constituency?
Fantastic, fantastic.
What's the state of security in Ghana? You sit on top of Ghana's security structure.
When we came in, you remember the first 3 months of 2018 were in a crisis. Armed robberies here and there. But as I talk to you today, you can hardly hear even West critics say Ghana is insecure.
No, there is a lot of that. An assembly member was killed in Sogakope. It led to riots. Your police station was attacked. Recently, there have been attacks. Indeed, at registration centers, there have been violent attacks. You can definitely not say Ghana is safe, considering all these things you've talked about.
Well, yes, there is no perfect state of security anywhere in the world. But what we are talking about is where we were and where we are now. So always we, the leaders of security, say the country is relatively calm. The figures for armed robberies have gone down.
NDC flag bearer John Mahama is promising to legalize the operations of commercial motorbike riders known as Okada. What's your comment as the Minister for Interior on that?
Well, our comment now is that Okada is with us and we are dealing with it as far as we can. And if it becomes necessary for us to change any situation, we would do so. But the president was president before and Okada was with us. He didn't do anything about that. But the important thing is that Okada riders must know that they're not above the law.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's the Honorable Ambrose Derry's Minister for the Interior, speaking to us here in our continuous coverage of the MPP Manifesto launch here in Cape Coast in the Central Region.
Then we want to tell people that we are seeking re-election. We are seeking power to enable us continue our good works. And that the whole idea is to ensure that every Ghanaian benefits from this, our enterprise. It is holistic, it is for all, and it is for the ultimate development of this country of ours. Thank you.
In the 2020 election, is it going to be a matter of records or manifesto? What would be
records? To be records, of course.
So people ask the question, what's the use of a manifesto then?
It's important because for this election, for the first time in our history, the two contestants have all had the chance to be president before.
Mama is asking your candidate
no. When they had the chance to rule this country. Debate for what?
So that you show what you have done and then let them...
I'm already show. If you look, debate, are you talking about a section of a debate on infrastructure? Then you go to economy, then you go to multi. No, we don't do that kind of debate. Tell us what you have done when you had the chance to serve Ghana.
Okay, that's the Senior Minister, Osafo Mafo, speaking to us and giving us his perspective.
So we're about to see the arrival of the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, just arriving at the venue for the launch of the 2020 Manifesto of the new Patriotic Party. If your screen, you see him about to get off in a bid, leading to the start of the program proper. For some time, members of the party have been here for a while, waiting for the arrival of the president. That's him in your shot, the President of the Republic. And here at the Cape Coast University, the NEC Hall, exchanging some pleasantries from some party officials and party supporters.
We have no reason to believe the NDC presidential candidate's newly proclaimed conversion to free SH and free TVET. For 8 years, he and his party were loud in their assertions that they did not believe in free SHS and free TVET. They did not like the idea, they rubbished it at every opportunity, and they proclaimed that it would destroy Ghana's educational system. When they were in office, they had a hard time trying to run even their watered-down version of their so-called progressively free education. Then the former president said he would review it, and now we hear him say it has come to stay. Excellency, please try another one. Your credibility on this one is zero. Free SHS and free TVET cannot be trusted in your hands. I know that the NDC presidential candidate, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, believes and says often that Ghanaians have a short memory. And he must hold strongly to this belief. Otherwise, I doubt he would have summoned the courage to be seeking another term after the disaster that was his presidency. Ghanaians might have short memories, but not short enough for us to have forgotten the broken down freezers, irons, and other household equipment thanks to the 5 years of Dumso. Our memories are not short enough to forget that the economy, our memories are not short enough to forget that teachers taught for 3 years and were only paid for 3 months. Our memories are certainly not short enough to forget that he brought our entire financial services system to near collapse. I've heard him make the extraordinary claim that Ghana's economy was in, quote, tatters, not because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but because of mismanagement. I doubt that he can recognize a well-managed economy, even if it slapped him in the face. It has been said by the NDC presidential candidate that NPP policies lack sense. If running an emerging oil economy into the arms of the IMF because of indiscipline in the management of the public finances is sense, I'm happy that the NPP has another concept of sense. If having sense means cancelling teacher, trainee, and nurses' allowances is sense, I'm happy that the NPP has another concept of sense. If having sense means recording the worst economic management statistics of modern times with the lowest rate of growth of the last 30 years, I'm happy the NPP has another concept of sense. Having sense in the NPP means being able to take an economy growing at 3.4% to an economy that grew, on the average, for 3 successive years, at least 7% per year before the pandemic, and was rightly acknowledged as one of the best performing economies, not just in Africa, but also in the world. Having sense in the NPP means executing the program for planting for food and jobs, which has led to the revival of Ghanaian agriculture from the doldrums of the NDC years, bringing in its wake bumper harvests and affordable food prices in our markets and exports of significant quantities of foodstuffs to our neighbors.
We have a major promise, a policy initiative, which will say that all tertiary students, except teacher and nursing trainees who will be on allowances, but all tertiary students will now be able to get the option to obtain a student loan without the requirement of a guarantor. The problem for many tertiary students is the current scheme asks for guarantors, And you know, a lot of people are not willing to put their pensions online. So the many students are not able to access. So you don't need a guarantor. All you need is your national ID card. That's all. And then you will be able to access your loan. And once you complete the tertiary education, repayment will be deferred. After your national service, you will get 1 year grace after the national service before you start repaying. The government has decided to come in and bridge this market failure by setting up a national rental assistance scheme. And under this scheme, you know, if you have a job and we can deduct regularly from your income, under this scheme, the National Rent Assistance Scheme will give you a loan to pay your rent allowance. But we are paying this not to you, but to the landlord. And then we will deduct monthly as you would normally pay. So we are bridging this. You need to have a formal employment, which will allow us, or guarantee, someone who will guarantee so that you can pay. We are building an automobile industry. What we want to make sure is not just that we are building the industry, but the people here, the business people, the commercial drivers and so on, should be able to own these vehicles. So we are setting up a transport sector recapitalization project so that we introduce a government-backed lease-to-own scheme where the existing commercial operators can essentially exchange their vehicles for new vehicles and pay over time, because these vehicles are going to be assembled or manufactured in Ghana. Improving the business environment, we're going to, for businesses, introduce a single business identifier. Just as you have for individuals with a national ID card, you have that for businesses, so that across interaction with government, there's one number, and that can easily be done because whenever you register a business, you have a number anyway. A business registration number is given, so that doesn't require new registration. We'll just make sure that is your unique identifier. And we want to introduce regulatory flexibility for micro, small and medium enterprises in their compliance, because there's so much hassle under the current dispensation that we see for many micro, small and medium-scale enterprises in complying with taxation and so on. So we want to introduce a simplified tax regime for micro, small and medium-scale enterprises with a very flexible one, and make sure that they can file their taxes online on their mobile phone and make it so simple.
To alleviate the plight of the physically challenged, we are focused in our first term to empower them with income earning opportunities by providing them with funds and logistics to lead a more dignified life. This support includes an increase in the District Assembly's Common Fund allocation for persons with disabilities from 2% to 3%. The National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NIP, another enviable flagship policy initiative of Akufo-Addo-led NPP government, has been providing an integrated national support for startups, include business development services, startup incubators, and funding for young businesses to enable them grow and become successful, with special focus on physically challenged beneficiaries.
Take a break briefly from the NPP and go to the camp of the NDC, where its flag bearer John Dramani Mahama has been speaking, and he said he would facilitate the direct distribution of premixed fuel to fisherfolk if he is re-elected. According to him, the NPP government has been politicizing the distribution of premixed fuel. The former president has been speaking in the Volta region.
Abra Professor Mills Woho premix ejumano otutu ni ye Emma landing beaches ni na premix no na ebedi afare for nsem omo ena beche ama omo ho
And so, Abra NDC free abai so. After the premix no, almost the basic party for some. Na sani pani be fare for. Almost chenam. Also, you had the premix ebe maumwa. No, almost the ato so. No more tongue ama fishermen no. And Yama. Omo be a fisherman na kasa omo nya premix ni bi enti aba ye betutu ni o meyie se na be ya premix no ye de be ma fisherman no no mo kasa omo ache ama omo ho ya branso ni amamu fishing inputs ya mamu outboard motors on high purchase credit ye be send the outboard motors naba. And here the outboard motor no mawa na utia kakra kopem se obetie wie.
It's still the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Lokko. We're coming to you from the University of Cape Coast, where the MPP is launching its manifesto. But when we come back, we still stay in the central region, taking you across some schools here as they prepare to open for a likely reopening of schools.
Rigworld Solutions, forging the frameworks of Ghanaian industry. Engineering solutions from the heart of Takrade, Kejebil. At Rigworld Solutions, we manufacture industrial bolts and nuts, fasteners, hoses and fittings for the extractive and petrochemical industries. World-class products with local expertise. Locate our factory in Kejebil of the Takrade Takwa Road. Call 0302-949917 or 0540-107504. Email enquiries at rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world.
This is the beating heart of an African, ready for what is next. And this is the sound of a Ghanaian drum, setting the pace. Together, it creates a seamless rhythm of what is and what is to come. A sense of purpose which says that there is more to the Ghanaian than a dream. Ghana always stands ready, and First National Bank is happy to invest, partner, and help Ghana to discover more. This is why we are happy to announce our acquisition and subsequent merger with GHL Bank, Ghana's leading provider of mortgage financing. A merger which delivers an opportunity to discover more growth and prosperity for all Ghanaians. Shh. Listen to the heart beat to the rhythm of the drums. It is time for Ghanaians to discover more together. First National Bank and GHL Bank come together as First National Bank. How can we help you?
This is the central region, specifically the University of Cape Coast, where we're bringing you the manifesto launch of the MPP, the 2020 manifesto launch that it is. It has come to an end after hours. We had the president himself speaking on issues planned for the party for the elections. We had the vice president himself taking us through the manifesto proper, what to expect, running through from education from technology to health and many other sectors as well. So let's look at issues of transport, and I have the Deputy Transport Minister to speak to on the matter. Honorable Titles Global, what should we expect in the area of transport for your 2020 manifesto?
Daka, we are continuing what we started in the development of the London beaches. We are doing one in Teshi in the Greater Accra region. We are doing 6 in Central region. We are continuing.
Ideas that you have, but what are the timelines in getting these?
Because they are ongoing. Because we are praying that Ghanaians will give that the mandate again to continue what we are doing. Then again, the vision of the president in the transport sector. We need to improve the multimodal transport system. When I talk about intermodal transport, I'm talking about the 4 modes of transport where they are linked up: land, road, air, and sea. So now when you look at rail, it is going so fast because you could see the kind of pressure being exerted on the road. So now with the rail that we have been connected all the way from Tama through Konkata-Manso to Bethlehem, all the way to Mbakadai. Now contract has been awarded to cross across the river, Volta, up to the Volta region, to the north, all the way to Burkina Faso.
Yeah, Lolo, every now and then the workers go on strike, not happy with not being paid on time, arrears being owed by government. What are the plans for Ayalolo?
I can tell you, Aka, the problem was that they never had a working capital to start with. So gradually when they build their market base, all the revenue that they are generated, they must use it in paying for fuel, paying for revenue, remunerations, and all that. There was no working capital. But I agree with you. We've done our best under the circumstances to make sure that we make Ayalolo as it is. So now they are running. The Amasaman stretch is working. The Kaswa to Accra Central is working. Then you got the Tama Ashama is also working.
So there you have it, the president exiting the premises after hours of meeting and deliberating over the manifesto for 2020. The president is taking his leave following the launch of the 2020 manifesto of the NPP. After free SHS system that you have put in place, what should we expect in the next 4 years of your government in terms of education, tertiary and secondary school?
A prosperous Ghana.
Issues of finance. The NDC has questioned the quality of SHS that you're rolling out. What are your...
When NDC talks about education, do they not understand it? They are bankrupt of the ideas in education. What did they do in 4 years when they were given 8 years? What did they do? They destroyed education. That is why they took their children to school in Dubai.
Former President Mahama is now saying that he intends to continue the free SHS. Earlier, he had said they'll review it.
He doesn't know what free SHS is to continue it. He doesn't know what free SHS to continue it. He cannot talk his way through this.
Okay.
He cannot wrap his ideas through this. He doesn't understand free SHS, even to promote it.
Let's pick some more reactions on the manifesto launch coming here from the University of Cape Coast. What are the plans for the economy when it comes to your next time that you're in power? That is if you win.
And what we are going to do is, as the economists, make sure all the various sectors are well oiled so that together we can prop up the economy like it's been done now. We see that despite the effect of the COVID-19, we still have industrialization going on. We still have government creating jobs, and the private sector also creating jobs, because the private sector now has confidence in the economy. And above all, we are also looking at the human capital, because you cannot do all these things without propping up your human capital. So that is why, one, we are going to invest in the free SHS, not just free SHS this time. We are moving further to also attend to the needs of the tertiary students, whereby we are looking forward, we are going to take out the guarantor bits of the students' loan so that they can also, on their own, provided you have a national ID card, you can go ahead and sign up for a loan to enable you to take care of your school. So we are looking at not just the various sectors, but also the human capital.
Recently, we had a School of Hygiene talking about grants and capital and then allowances. Students from the School of Hygiene challenges with the allowances. What is the situation with them?
What happened was this. Let me first start with the employment situation. Way back in 2014, 2015, 2016, these students hadn't been employed. And so we drew up a program making sure that by the end of 2020, there are over 1,000 sanitation students who had completed school and were waiting to be employed by government will be employed. And as I speak to you, the program has been rolled out and all of them have been employed. Yes, we have a problem with the allowances. Remember, they were under Ministry of Health. And so in their movement to the Ministry of Sanitation, they missed out on their numbers because when government was paying for the allowances for the health trainees, I mean, it took a recognition of them, but because they had moved to the Sanitation Ministry, they couldn't get what was due them. Currently, we are working on it, and I believe that before September, they should get what is due them.
This is still Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. We are coming to you from the University of Cape Coast, where the New Patriotic Party is launching its manifesto. Let's shift to another political party that has a big event today, the Convention People's Party. It is electing a flag bearer and national executives. That Congress is happening in Accra. Citi News' Kwekwe Diamansan is there for Citi News.
So the CPP on Saturday, the 22nd of August 2020, organized this national delegates conference across the country. This was done across the country because the party wanted to observe the social distancing protocol which has come in place because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, we understand that this conference was held in Accra at the YMCA premises, and also a center was created at the party's headquarters for the party executives to vote there. Let me say that voting ended at around 4 to 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Counting has ended. We understand that the Electoral Commission will be announcing the winners of the respective positions.
General Secretary position. For the General Secretary, 2 people also contested. Candidate number 1, Nanaya Achampim Jantua, she had 1,389. Then James Kobran Bonfe had 752. So Nanaya Achampim Jantua is duly elected as the General Secretary. For the chairmanship position, 4 people contested. The first candidate, Hajia Hamdatu Ibrahim Haruna, she had 682. The second candidate, Nana Bright Odro Kwatin, he had 362. Then candidate number 3, Kweku Ankra Kwanza, 164. Candidate number 4, Nana Akosia Frimpoma Sapon Kuma, she had 915. So Nana Akosia Frimpoma Sapon Kuma is duly elected as the national chairman. The presidential primaries, who leads CPP into the 2020 elections, Bright Oblite Akwete, he had 597. Divine Ayivo, 171. Ayivo Kobna Green Street, he had 1,364. On behalf of the chairman or chairperson of the Electoral Commission, I do declare Ivor Kobna Green Street as the presidential aspirant on the ticket of CPP for the 2020 election.
Clearly, a lot of people are excited that their candidates have won. Who was your candidate and did the person win?
Actually, I'm the deputy campaign manager
and I stand in for Nanafi Boma, Kuma Mbeba, and Onzi Nkrumah. And we said election is won at the police station.
Today, we are just celebrating, waiting for him or her for all the way from Kumasi to Accra. Today, we don't see crying that.
Coming to you from the Central Region, specifically Cape Coast, have come here today to look at the impact of the closure of various senior high schools, the impact of that on local economies. I've come to the Central Region and specifically Cape Coast because over here there are a lot of prominent senior high schools and their closure have a lot of impact on local economies here. I've currently come to the Infantiman Girls Senior High School. This is the first school you see when you come to Cape Coast. It's one of the prominent female schools located here. Right behind me, there's a community down the road. But the impact is not felt as much as other schools that I'll take you to. Stay with me as we bring you the story of how local economies have been surviving following the closure of these schools in this region. Activities where you see food vendors selling to students was transacted here. But because of the COVID, the school, in a bid to ensure that no sort of interaction that will have an effect on the student happens, they put on hold the selling of food here from the community from outside. So all in a bid to ensure that the students are protected from the outside and not pick any virus if the potential is there. So that's what is happening here. Not much of an activity related to outside people, just to ensure that they're safe from the pandemic. Now, I've come to speak to the headmistress of the school on how things are going. Also, what are her thoughts on the pandemic proper and how they're dealing with it here in the school? Madam, welcome to the Citi Newsroom.
Thank you.
So how have you been able to manage so far with the COVID-19 pandemic?
Now, we manage to keep all the protocols, the necessary protocols. When you go around, you can see that you have the Veronica buckets, the nose masks were supplied, and the sanitizers, all that, the needed items have been supplied.
How challenging has it been with the social distancing?
Fortunately, because the numbers are not many, or that many, we'll be able to maintain the social distancing in the classrooms, in the dormitories, even in the dining hall. Yes, we will not be there throughout the 24 hours, but when we are around them, we will ensure that they keep the protocol.
So the president has directed by the end of this month, August, all streams to return back to school. What are the preparations for that for you?
We are ready for them because everything at the moment is in place. We have enough classrooms, the dormitories are also there. And so when they come, why not
would you be able to deal with the numbers, knowing that COVID moves around with numbers, and in this case that you have now, the numbers are limited, but when the full streams come back, that's a huge population.
We will be managing them, and so I believe that when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it with whatever we've put in place. Yes.
Some of the opinion that because of the large numbers, we should hold on with the reopening of the schools, all the other streams. What are your thoughts?
I think that schools should reopen because in spite of COVID, life must go on. How long are you going to keep them in the house? I mean, it will affect the academic calendar and a whole lot of things. So I think that's my opinion. They should come.
Now, we know there are communities around here that rely indirectly on the activities of the students and all that. How has it been, cutting them off?
The community, fortunately for us, is not too close to the school. And therefore, we've never had that kind of interaction as we have in other places. before COVID, they were not selling everything in the school, apart from fruits and water. Nothing else was sold. And so it didn't really affect us. We just stopped the fruit sellers from coming, and then we provide the fruits in the dining hall.
It's still the Citi Newsroom, and my next stop is the Agri Memorial Senior High School. On my left side, this school is also one of the prominent schools here. I'm going to go around here because if you look around the school, there's a lot of vendors around here who, on a normal day, rely on the activities of the students to pick their thoughts on patronage of their products as the COVID-19 pandemic continues. So I've seen a mobile money vendor, and I'm going to pick his thoughts on how activities are going around this community. How long have you been doing this business?
Oh, for the past 1.5 years now.
Okay. And how would you say it's been?
Well, when the students were in full section, activities were boom because I teach here. So the parents sent money through my number, and it was moving. But when they went home, things began to go down. Especially now, the Form 3s, they are not that plenty. So business has dwindled a lot.
How have you been managing, with a reduction in sales?
Well, I cope with it because I have no other option. What I'm anticipating is when they come back somewhere, maybe September or so, business will boom up again.
Okay.
Previously, a day I can do transaction of 3,000 and above. Yes, but now sometimes maybe the maximum is 2,000. So reduction of 1,000.
So let me go to some other vendors I see over there who also do business and rely on the schools to get patronage. So how many years now? Where you
Oh, my partner more than 10 years.
Oh, yeah. And then all this time was sports day. So yeah, then me home say me home plantain. Into here rice and plantain in here.
Gala beans.
Okay. Najwa, how is work business going?
Oh. This what women are slow.
Yes, slow.
School now we're breaking into. I'm not teachers in our hand what is it? To see our teachers no one so I'm a market now work for us or wash on 1 man now. What bet is what? Another was more from the school I had what is it?
Before no, in a day to say next Saturday, how many roughly people will come and patronize your food by now?
Oh, since we from telephone ban it, you know, when they or yakakra until the first.
In a day, like about 70, 80, 100 people baha
now. What are the papa? Teachers what be on him on Postma.
Okay. So it's still the Citi Newsroom. We're looking at preparation of senior high schools here in Cape Coast towards the opening of schools, and also looking at the local economy, the impact on the closure on businesses around here. Stay with us as we speak to more people here and more schools. I've come to the Ghana National College also to see how things are going here because of the pandemic and the closure of the schools. But let me look at the economy around here, how things are going. I've seen a lorry or taxi rank, so I'm going to pick their thoughts on how business is going now that majority of the students are home. Good afternoon. Where are you? Where are you?
Passengers.
Okay, it's more running taxi rank. A Juma crossing. And then school for Mumbai, school and Tanako, you know.
School for Nintinoma, Jumanunque. And now I find saying, Yaria is by so Amazisia and the Masses and Kra. And Yakra, Mad whole week you cry, Mrs. Ukrami.
The whole week will be in Tinakan.
The whole week, Mrs. Ukrami.
Hey,
Pa.
Now, I'm not day students for no more music.
Good. Day students for no more, no, all students and so be more beginning certificate in identity. Nay, yeah, pa.
It is and one passengers.
Menko mimpo de zana no masam de yanka me do de no kra me tete Ghana kra me ye.
The whole do bia oka wa he. Oka ndi. The whole what pacha was so there news red one. The whole do bia mbaha.
Yeah. Do de bia ma.
Hey. Nti yes a mo ye den.
Jinjina ha wi an ye fimi ekokro.
Uko fie.
Say we say hanin yen station. Nti ye jinjina ha na say ofi say o pese okwatan wa na okwatan wa ke adwuma. O bla no wa be gina ha.
Na town no ya mo tuminya obi ka.
Town na sisi ara yare nti omo bue kura da omo mfofo no kura wunya na at the same time ya ha no so plug no say taxi work no nti ya kura.
Na say ayenim say president akase end of August for school for no mu bie na no bia mba. Mo adwene who say with regards to omo business.
Say omo bank ade a ebe omo bank ade ebe.
So those are some taxi drivers over here. They operate a taxi rank just close by the Ghana National College. Because of the COVID-19, it's difficult for them to get passengers because they rely solely on students, day students from the college. Unfortunately, now all the Form 3 students have been made to become boarders, so they are unable to come out and move around. So they are hoping that pretty soon, at the end of August, when the other students return, business will be better for them. Stay with us on the Citi Newsroom. My next point of call is the Infantipim Senior High School. I'm going in there to find out how things have been panning out so far. Let's go. We know final year students of the school are currently writing their examinations, but how has it been for them so far? We've come to the school to pick the thoughts of management on that and also look at how they are preparing for the likely reopening of schools this month. Stay with me as I find out. The final year students are currently in school writing their exams. They've been in school for a couple of weeks. How has it been, implementing the COVID-19 protocols with them?
Initially, we all thought that it was going to be very difficult and challenging. But thankfully enough, so far, I can say that we were able to ensure that the students observe all the lead-in protocols regarding social distance and washing of hands. We were fortunate to have enough PPEs. We were with them, constantly reminding them to put on their mask and whatever they needed to do. We made them aware of the dangers should they do away with the mask wearing and all of that. So with the education that we give them, we were able to let them appreciate the need to protect themselves and their friends. And then they have been through to now, and we think that young as they are, they were able to do their best. That's how come we never had any case of COVID-19.
Some will say that, with the final year students, it's easier because, like you're saying, the numbers are less, and for some schools like yours, there are enough facilities to manage them. But when the numbers are increased, which we're expecting to see in the end of August, moving to September, how are you going to manage that?
Well, I am waiting patiently to hear the President speak regarding which year groups must come. It is when we hear of the number that are coming that I may want to put in a suggestion. For us, I think that the number that we had, we could contain. And if they were about the same number, we should be able to contain. If it's going to be more, then that will mean that more space required.
Well, I know you're waiting for that, but while you're waiting for that, for example, with the facilities you have and knowing the rules of engagement in terms of social distancing and all that, will adding on another year group or a third be feasible in ensuring that you go by the rules of engagement?
Of course, we can't take some numbers if they are too large. Now we have Form 1 and 2, left, right, and we have gold track, green track. So I'm not expecting that they say all of you go. I don't think so. If that happens, then there should be a plan B. So for me, I still hope and wish that the number that will be able to come, we will be able to contain, based on what we have.
Okay. Whilst you are waiting for the committee to do its work, have you started any plans, any preparations towards a likely reopening?
Yeah, the preparations we put in place to receive Form 2 Gold and Form 3 is still in place. Like I said, all our buckets, basins, the dining hall, whatever we have is still being prepared. Once they leave, we just put the places in order to wait for them. Okay. So as we are in the house, I want to appeal to all parents to take care of their wards, making sure that they don't get infected, so they will in turn can also infect their colleagues. So it's about that in the house. So parents, it's their responsibility and duty to ensure that they take care of their wards, advise them not to go near places where they can be infected, so that when they come in and they are all healthy, then we all will be healthy.
This is still Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Still ahead on Citi Newsroom, residents of Samsam in the West municipality of the Greater Accra region threaten to boycott the elections of 2020 unless their roads are fixed.
Have you heard of Wheel of Fortune?
No, what's that?
Register on betplanet.com.gh. Select Wheel of Fortune and win a prize.
What? Wait, I'm just gonna win a prize because I'm new?
Yes, but to win a prize, you only deposit 10 Ghana Cedi.
Before I win, I have to pay?
Really? So you're comparing 10 Ghana Cedi to an iPhone, an iPad, 25,000 Ghana Cedi? Eh? Okay, then spin. Babe, we are rich.
We're about to change your Sunday night for the better.
This Sunday on the Upside Down Show, we learn about the art of mixology and cocktails from She Mixology, and later, multiple award-winning artists and the grandpapa of the hip life genre, Reggie Rockstone, and his wife, co-founder of Roxwate, Dr. Zilla Lehman, speak on life, being a celebrity couple and navigating love and business with Roxwate, right here on the Upside Down Show. This Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Citi TV. Upside Down is proudly brought to you by Vodafone Ghana.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Well, let's shift attention briefly to some other stories elsewhere. And residents of Samsam in the West municipality of the Greater Accra region are threatening to boycott the elections of 2020. They say they will not vote until their deplorable roads are fixed. Citi News' Philip Nilati is on that story for us.
Upon reaching the Samsam township in the West municipality, one may be led to believe that he or she is in a remote community at the outskirts of the Greater Accra region. This town has become known for its poor roads. Although the year 2020 has been declared as the year of roads by the government, residents at Samsam seem to be left out. The bumpy and dusty road has been in this state for years. This situation played a key role in an accident which occurred on Monday, August 17, involving a truck, a saloon car, and a taxi along a hilly portion of the stretch. The residents of Samsam have therefore threatened to demonstrate and boycott the upcoming elections until their roads are made motorable.
But before the number started, got a answer. And I got an 1 year when they got an enquiry. Ya companies are who shares a siap mitrema, even one of my say cement will move cement in Yankupon to name by Uncle Mamaya and any hockey. And as I say, who share a road, you walk, people be one, people know a say. And I can say even class or Munya road now, people never honeymoon, or Munya be to come my, or moon yet. And now she accident, SC one, when I do 7 o'clock. Tipa back, while pim 2 cars at the spot. Ya come watch them saying almost a moon. And the say, young man, I Johan, and I consider demonstration.
I've been here for over 5 years now. And the road, as you can see for yourself, is as terrible as any bad road you can see anywhere. And this is a road that we've been complaining about for the past so many years, only God knows how long. And we've reached out to the MCE for the area. He hasn't been able to give us any concrete responses.
I do feel very scared coming to the scene. Sometimes I feel the car might just go down the hills.
And that's it for today's edition of the Citi Newsroom. We came to you from the University of Cape Coast. Log on to our website, citinewsroom.com. We have more stories. My name is Vivian Lokko.
And mine is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. Thank you for watching us.
Rigworld Solutions is a wholly owned Ghanaian company